Today, we'll discuss about the speed control methods of DC shunt motors. The factors affecting the speed of the DC motor are, we know that N is proportional to EB by phi, where EB is equal to V minus IARA. So, in the expression EB, Z, P, A are constants. Here, the armature resistance as well as the field resistance are very small. Therefore, IA drop is very small. So, we can write this expression as EB by phi is proportional to V by phi. That means N is proportional to V by phi, as EB is approximately equal to V. So, the factors affecting the speed of the DC motor are the flux phi and the armature voltage across the armature, and the applied voltage V. So, depending upon these three factors, various methods of speed control are there. First one is changing the flux phi by changing the current through the field winding, which is called flux control method. Another one is changing the armature path resistance, which in turn changes the voltage applied across the armature, which is called rheostatic control. The third one is changing the applied voltage, which is called voltage control method. So before studying how these methods for various types of DC motors are used, let us study the ratings of the DC motor, because these ratings decides the range in which the speed of a particular DC motor can be varied. The range of speed control depends upon the rating of the DC motors. So coming to the ratings of the DC motor, to change the speed as per the requirements, it is not possible to increase the voltage V, applied voltage V, and the currents beyond certain limit, because these limits are called ratings of the motor. First one, the maximum voltage that can be applied to the motor safely is called rated voltage or normal voltage of the DC motor. While changing the applied voltage, we should not apply the voltage more than the rated voltage of the motor. So we cannot apply the voltage more than the rated voltage of the motor. That is one constraint. Next, maximum current that the field winding can carry safely is called field current, because every field will carry some maximum current. That field current is the main cause for the flux. So while changing the flux, one should not increase the field current beyond its rated value. So this is an important rating as far as the shunt motor is concerned. If you take the series motor, the entire armature current flows through the series field winding. So that's why in the shunt motor, if you want to change the flux, to change the speed, should focus on the rated field current. Next, third point, armature current. Armature current is decided by the load. It cannot be changed by changing the resistance of the armature, because is a series current. The current flows in the series circuit. By changing the armature resistance, armature current cannot be changed. So the maximum current the armature winding can carry safely is decided by the load. That is called full load current or full load rating of the motor. So motor should not be loaded more than its full load capacity indicated by its full load armature current. That means the amount of the armature current to flow in the armature is fixed, because the armature winding is designed according to that. So armature current is due to the load current. That means we should not apply the load current more than the full load current, which decides the armature current. So if the rating is exceeded, it is dangerous from the motor point of view, as due to high currents, what happens? Heat is produced, which is proportional to the square of the current, is very large. This may damage the windings electrically. So these are the limitations. That means a rated voltage, rated field current, as well as full load current. These are the limitations. That means which are the rate which decides the ratings of the motor. So now you know that N is proportional to V by 5. If V is V rated, phi, which is proportional to the field current, if it is phi is phi rated, then when there is no external resistance in the armature and the field circuit, the motor is excited by normal voltage or rated voltage, then the speed that is obtained is called rated speed or normal speed. Rated speed is corresponding to rated voltage and rated field current. Practically, the motor speed can be increased to approximately twice the normal speed safely. That means what? While controlling the speed, voltage applied should not be more than the rated voltage of the motor. The field current should not be more than its rated value, and the current carried by the armature should not be more than its full load value. All these ratings are provided by the manufacturer in the form of nameplate of the DC motor. So let us study how various methods are applied for different types of DC motors. The key point here is rated or normal speed is not the maximum speed with which motor can run safely, but it is the speed when the electrical parameters controlling the speed are at their rated values. So let us see the first control, speed control of the DC shunt motor, that is flux control. If you observe, N is proportional to EB by 5. Here you are applying the rated voltage to the motor. The flux dependent upon the current through the shunt field winding. So the flux can be controlled. The flux can be controlled by adding a rheostat in series with the shunt field winding. Here, if you observe, initially at the beginning, the rheostat R is kept at its minimum position, at this position, and the applied voltage is at rated value. So the current through the shunt field winding is also the rated current. Hence, what is the speed of the DC motor? It is at normal speed. When the resistance increases, when the wiper moves like this, when the resistance increases, what happens? The current through the field winding decreases. When current through the field winding decreases, the flux decreases. When the flux decreases, then speed increases. So, because N is proportional to 1 by 5, as the flux decreases, speed increases beyond its rated value. So we can observe here at rated current, that means when R is at minimum value, here at this position, rated field current flows. In this case, the speed is normal speed. As the resistance increases, then what happens? The current in the field decreases. When the current in the field decreases, then the speed increases. So with this method, we can get the speeds more than the rated speed. And that means the speeds from rated speed to above the rated speeds can be obtained with flux control. We cannot get the speeds below the rated speeds. And here one point you have to observe is the rated values of the electrical parameters should not be exceeded, but the speed which is mechanical parameter can be exceeded up to twice its rated value. So let us see the advantages of the flux control method. It provides relatively smooth and easy control. Speed control above the rated speed is possible. As the field winding resistance is high, the field current is small, hence the power loss ISH square R is extremely small. That means which is external resistance. R is external resistance, then this loss is very small, which makes the method more economical and efficient. As the field current is small, the current flowing through the field is small, the size of the rheostat required is small. These are the advantages. Coming to disadvantages, the speed control below the normal speed, rated speed, is not possible. Why? As the flux cannot be increased only up to its rated value. Here, if you observe, why we cannot get the speeds below the rated speed? Because if you decrease the flux, then speeds can be reduced below the rated speed. Here, we cannot reduce the flux. Reduction of the flux is not possible because when the resistance is at this position, minimum position, the current flowing is rated current flows, rated current. Therefore, flux is corresponding to the rated field current. We cannot reduce the flux below that value. That's why we cannot get the speeds below the rated speeds. As flux reduces, then speed increases. But high speed affects the commutation, making motor operation unstable. So there is a limit on the maximum speed above normal possible by this method. So coming to the next method, armature voltage control method, rheostatic control method. As we said, N is proportional to EB by 5, which is proportional to V minus IA RA by 5. The speed is directly proportional to the voltage applied across the armature. Because the supply voltage is normally constant, the voltage across the armature can be controlled by adding a variable resistance in series with the armature. So you can observe when this resistance is at minimum position, at this position, then the voltage applied is rated one. So the field winding is excited by normal voltage, hence ISH is rated and constant in method. As we said, when the rheostat is in minimum position and rated voltage is applied across the armature, then what happens? Rated speed can be obtained. So as the resistance increases, because it is a series resistance, the armature current is same. Therefore, IAR, the voltage drop across this one will increase. Then voltage across the armature decreases. Because when the drop across this resistance increases, automatically the drop across this will be decreases. And the armature voltage, this is not a drop, voltage across the armature decreases. Therefore, automatically speed decreases. So we will get the speeds less than the rated speed. So we can observe here, when the voltage is rated, then you will get a normal speed here. When the voltage across the armature decreases, then the speeds are decreasing below the normal value. So Here, in the previous method, we cannot get the speeds reaching to zero value. That means zero speed is not possible. Why? Because it requires a large rheostat in series with the armature. Large rheostat is required in series with the armature, which is not practically possible. Why? Because more drop across that, more rise in the temperature. So if the speed control from 0 to rated speed is required, then you have to go for a rheostatic method. Then voltage across the armature can be varied by connecting a rheostat in a potential divider arrangement. If you observe here, when the resistance position is here, that means the wiper position is here, then which is the starting position, here the speed is 0. When the wiper moves upwards like this, when it reaches to this position, maximum position, the speed is rated. How? Let us see. When the voltage across the armature starts increasing, as long as the motor does not overcome the inertial and frictional torque, the speed of the motor remains 0. In this region, if you observe, this region, voltage required to overcome the inertia and friction and IRA drop. In this case, the speed of the motor remains 0. The motor requires some voltage to start, and hence the graph of the voltage and speed does not pass through origin. It does not pass through origin. So when a variable rheostat, when it is placed here at the start position, then voltage across the armature is 0. When it is at this position, voltage across the armature is 0, hence speed is 0. As the rheostat is moved up towards the maximum point shown, the voltage across the armature increases. Voltage across the armature increases, therefore increasing the speed. At a maximum point, the voltage is maximum. That means it is the voltage, supply voltage. That means the voltage across the armature is nothing but the supply voltage, which is a rated voltage. Therefore, you will get a rated speed. So at maximum point, voltage is maximum, that is rated. Hence, maximum speed is possible, which is rated speed. So you can observe, we can get speeds from 0 speeds to rated speed. So what are the advantages of the rheostatic control? Easy and smooth speed control below normal is possible. In a potential divider arrangement, rheostat can be used as a starter. This rheostat can be used as a starter. What are the disadvantages of the rheostatic control? As the entire armature current passes through this external resistance, there are tremendous power losses. The armature current is more than the field current. Rheostat is required is of large size and capacity. Speeds above the rated speeds is not possible by this method, because the maximum voltage that can be applied across the armature is rated voltage. So due to large power losses, the method is expensive, wasteful, and less efficient. This method needs expensive heat dissipation arrangements. Let us see the third method, applied voltage control, which is also called as a multiple voltage control. In this technique, a shunt field of the motor is permanently connected to a fixed voltage supply, while the armature is supplied with various voltages by means of switchgear arrangements. So field is supplied with fixed voltage supply, armature is supplied with variable voltage. So in large factories, various values of the armature voltages and corresponding arrangements can be used to obtain the speed control. If you observe here, the switch is closed in this position, so it is the armature is applied with 0 to 220 volts. If the switch is in this position, minus 222 plus 2, that means 440 volts is applied across the armature. When the voltage applied across the armature is different, the speeds are different. So what are the advantages of the applied voltage control? Gives wide range of speed control. Speed control in both the directions can be achieved very easily. Uniform acceleration can be obtained. What are the disadvantages? Arrangement is expensive, as provision for various auxiliary equipments are required. Separate equipments are required. Overall efficiency is low. What are the general steps to solve the problems in speed control? First, identify the method of speed control, whether it is a flux control method, or armature voltage control method, or rheostatic control method. You observe in which winding of the motor the external resistance is to be inserted. Use torque equation T is equal to phi into Ia to determine the new armature current according to the condition of the torque given. Load condition indicates the condition of the torque. Use the speed equation N proportional to Eb by 5 to find the unknown back EMF or field current. From the term calculated above and using the voltage current relationship of the motor, value of the extra resistance to be added can be determined. The above steps may vary little bit according to the nature of the problem, but are always the base of any speed control problem. Let us see one example problem. A 250 volts DC shunt motor has a shunt field resistance of 200 ohms and an armature resistance of 0.3 ohms. For a given load, the motor runs at 1500 RPM, drawing a current of 22 amperes from the supply. If the resistance of 150 ohms is added in series with the field winding, find the new armature current and the speed. Assume the load torque is constant and magnetization curve to be linear. So first, we have to calculate here. In the first case, we have to calculate first ISH1. Therefrom, we have to calculate IA1. From that, using the torque relationship, we can get the expression between torque and field currents and armature currents. Let us proceed. The given one is 250 volts applied voltage, RA 0.3 ohms, field resistance 200 ohms, IL1 given as 22 amperes. Therefore, ISH1 can be calculated as V by RSH, 250 by 200, 1.25 amperes. What is IA1? That means line current minus field current, 20.75 amperes. By using this expression, T1 by T2 is equal to ISH1 by ISH2 into IA1 by IA2. Because they have given the load torque constant, so you can calculate ISH2 as V by RSH plus RX, which is ISH2. Applied voltage is V across this. So it is 0.7142 amperes from the given values. So substituting in 1. So this value, if you substitute in this equation, 1.25 into 20.75 is equal to IA2 into 0.7142. From this, you can calculate IA2. So once the armature current in the first case and the second case are obtained, you can calculate back EMF. EB1 is equal to V minus IA1 RA. After substituting, you will get its value is 243.775. And EB2, you can get V minus IA2 RA. After substituting these values, you will get 239.1062 volts. So now, using the expression N is proportional to EB by 5, which is proportional to EB by ISH for the shunt motor. Therefore, N1 by N2 is equal to EB1 by EB2 into ISH2 by ISH1. So from this, we know N1 1500, We know EB1, EB2. We know ISH2, ISH1. We can calculate N2, the new speed, 2575.03 RPM. So if you see the old speed N1 is 1500 RPM, the new speed is 2575.03 RPM. Because it is a flux control method, you are getting the speeds more than the rated speed. So in the next session, we'll discuss about the speed control methods of the series motor. Thank you.